My name is Connor, and at the age of 13, I was statutory R-worded by a popular TikTok influencer.
We both liked each other, and then we realized that the ages were too different. Nothing happened between us besides kissing.
So I'm just scared that Amber's gonna go live and try to say that Connor and I and then Cody was texting me saying that he has proof that we did and shit when he doesn't. Nobody has proof of it. Because we did it in secret.
Okay, you guys, welcome back to my channel. Buckle up because today's video is actually going to be a heavier one. But it's one that really needs to be talked about. Recently, a 17-year-old TikToker came forward with a heartbreaking story that he's been carrying for years. When he was just 13, yeah, a middle schooler. He said that he was taken advantage of by a 19-year-old influencer. That's right, a legal adult, somebody with a platform, with influence. And this person crossed serious boundaries with the child. Actually, to be honest, there were really no boundaries put in place in the first place between her and this child. And what's worse is that she knew his age. She even had told her friends that she was afraid that she was going to go to jail because of the nature of hers and this boy's relationship. So there was no confusion at this point in time as to what was going on and that it was wrong. Fast forward to now, she's still online, still thriving in the influencer space. Meanwhile, this young man has been trying to share his story for years, only to be ignored, dismissed, and silenced. Why? Honestly, because I think he's a boy and she's a woman. If the roles were reversed, I don't think that anybody would be questioning if this was right or wrong. It would just be wrong and there would be court dates, charges, all of the things. So yes, today's video is going to be a bit darker. I'm going to have to be careful with my wording. So this is your trigger warning for this video. We are going to be diving into serious things that need attention, not silence. So let's get right into it. Okay, so Connor Joyce is a 17-year-old TikToker. He just posted a 2-part video about what he has gone through with 23-year-old Zoe Laverne. Zoe is also a popular TikToker / influencer. But we're gonna have to rewind a bit with this story because this all allegedly, I have to put allegedly with these type of videos, but allegedly this all went down whenever Connor was 13 and Zoe was 19. So this was around 2020. So in part 1, Connor talked about how he got to know Zoe, and the impression that I got with his, story about how he got to know her is that Zoe is a lot like Colleen Ballinger was with her fans, her underage fans back in the day. She was too close with them, treating them like best friends, adding them on Snapchat, which is exactly what happened with Connor's story. But over time, things got more intense. Zoe began to FaceTime with her fans. There was always a group FaceTime with Connor and other fans. They were all fans of Zoe, and Zoe would FaceTime these group of minors often. But as time went on, fans would kind of just stop getting on the FaceTime call, and it eventually got to the point where it was just Connor and Zoe FaceTiming each other. And this would happen quite a bit, so much so that Zoe had a boyfriend at the time, and he was getting concerned about it. He thought it was weird that his 19-year-old girlfriend was best friends with this 13-year-old boy, talking about him all the time, calling him all the time. It felt weird. Most adults would think that's weird. And this all went down until Zoe and her boyfriend broke up, and that's whenever things really got intense.
The first week of June, when her and her ex-boyfriend had broken up, and she was in Tennessee at the time with her friend Amber, which then they both drove out here instantly to come visit me. Now, I was under the impression that they were only coming to visit for a week, but because they had both just gotten fresh out of relationships, they both made the decision to move here for a fresh start. Now, prior to her coming and visiting me, she did discuss with me on the phone that she liked me. I thought she was messing around. I thought it was just a funny little prank. She told me that she liked me and that when she came to visit me in May, she wanted to hold my hand. She wanted to, kind of be more intimate. Now, at the time that she had came here, I had just turned 13, maybe a week prior. I had a very close friend group at the time that I would talk to, that I had voiced about being a little uncomfortable with the fact of knowing that she liked me and her still coming here. But I was under the impression I only had to see her for a week. So I was in fear of if anything were to go wrong, I only have to deal with her for a week and I can move along and not speak to her again. Now, because she did make the ultimate decision to come and move here, we continued to get closer and closer and closer. Now, in June, she did kiss me. She did start to get more personal. She would try to seclude me off from my friends, from my family, try to get me away, whatever. Now, if you were on social media back in this timeline, you could see that I defended her for everything she was ever accused for, canceled for, etc. I was so strung up and just trying to process real life because someone that I'd idolized for years was now living in my hometown, was somebody that was becoming my best friend, someone very close to me. And I was so caught up in just, wow, how is this real? That I wasn't paying attention to what was actively happening to me in the time being. Now, she kissed me And as time went on, things started picking up to a worse and worse level. She would engage in sexual conversations with me, sending me pictures, calling me on the phone, doing things on the phone with me, etc. Now keep in mind, I still was very highlighted by the fact that this girl was in my life because it was a surreal thing to me that I was too afraid to speak up and have her hate me and wonder where things would end up. And a lot of people ask where my parents were at this time, but growing up, I've been bullied all throughout middle school ever since I was younger. I didn't have a lot of friends, so straight off the bat, my parents thought that this was a good thing, and seeing how happy it made me from the start, that they thought that it would be a good thing for us to become friends and for us to be hanging out, whatever. There was obviously a lot of restrictions on things. My mom would question things at times. She never thought that it was not weird, but I gave her that reassurance that things were fine. Now, I specifically remember there was one specific day that we were hanging out and I was at her house, and she had kind of just thrown herself on top of me and asked me if I was ready. My heart was beating super fast, and I still specifically remember her asking me, "Are you okay? Like, your heart's beating super fast, are you okay?" And I was in a moment of shock. I never thought things would ever evolve to this level. This girl had 20 million followers. I knew she had a career on the line. I always told myself she would never, ever do anything to mess with her career or ruin her career. In this moment, I was in a state of shock. She asked me if I was okay and if I wanted to, and I responded with yes, although my body language was very obvious that I was uncomfortable with the situation. This was a continuous event that continued to happen over and over again. And when things were publicized back in October of 2020, I had talked to authorities and I lied to the police for her. Now, back in October of 2020, when things were publicized on the internet, I did talk to authorities and I did lie to the police because I was heavily manipulated and I was still in a sense of trying to protect her. She had gotten into my brain so deep that she had told me if she went to jail for what she did, that she would off herself. And being only 13 years old, and again, this is someone you idolize and you look up to, that is going to mess with your head. After this, they thought it wasn't a threat, they moved along, and Zoe still tried to pursue a relationship with me because she thought she was in the clear. She would make fake Snapchat accounts to contact with me. My mom cut off contact with us, and she would still make accounts to have desires to speak to me. Now, after this incident, it has been 5 years, and I was bullied out of school, I was harassed, I was assaulted, my family was harassed, I had false CPS reports, my house has been attempted to be swatted, my address was leaked. I've had to face so many repercussions because of this girl. Now, I want to make it clear that I have tried to come out about my story and seek legal justice since then, and they have made every excuse they possibly could to not give me the justice that I deserve. I showed up with receipts, I showed up with proof, I showed up with everything, and they still did not want to believe me. The authorities had told me straight to my face that they had thought this was all conducted under a publicity stunt and we were doing this for views and attention, completely disregarding the straight laws and the straight proof that was right in front of their face. My case was dragged out for almost a year of just back and forth between we can do something, we can't, we can, we can't. It's a very deteriorating feeling though to still face repercussions for a situation I was a victim in from 5 years ago, still to this day, while the person is walking free and can't even take the accountability to own up to what she did to me. As well as her friend Amber that lived here with her, told me that she would testify for me and speak out for me because she lived there and watched everything happen and then proceeded to ghost the police and ghost me and not help me with my case, period.
Okay, so that was part 1. He has since deleted part 2, but a TikTok page saved the video. And in the video, Connor is showing all of the receipts to prove that he's not lying about it.
Put it into words without this being taken down. I just want you guys to picture an adult relationship with everything involved as well as the sexual factors. Majority of the sexual things you can think of off the top of your head very much so did occur. And before I dive into actually showing the evidence, I do want to state that this was all given to the police and I was still shut down and told that she was an attractive girl, and am I sure that I didn't like it or enjoy it. I also do want to clarify that whether I gave in the time or not, I still was only 13 years old and legally it was not the age of consent. Therefore, still does not make it anywhere near okay. I was also harassed and bullied out of school. I spent all of my high school years doing online school, and I just now returned to in-person this year for my senior year because I wanted to have at least 1 year that I could remember and look back on my childhood years. I still am in therapy, still facing the trauma of this, and I will continue to face the trauma for this for the rest of my life. A lot of things people don't realize is that you are made off of your childhood, and when you experience such gruesome sexual trauma as a child, it is only going to continue to affect me more and more the older that I get. So this video that I'm about to show is a video of her on the phone with mutual friends of mine after everything had happened, and when polygraphs were being threatened for a lie detector test, this was her explaining how to lie on it.
Listen, if you want to lie on a polygraph, all you gotta do is just like when they ask you the question, think of the question as them asking like, did you sleep with your dad? Then your heart won't fucking race. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm just scared that like Amber's gonna go live and try to say that Connor and I like. And then Cody was texting me saying that he has proof that we did and shit when he doesn't. Like, nobody has proof of it. Because we did it in secret.
This right here is her admitting that she indeed did take my innocence, but there was no proof of it because we obviously didn't record it. My messages were on the top, commenting on how Zoe has literally messed me up so bad mentally and destroyed me as a person. And when my friends were going to come stay here for a week, I was voicing I was scared to spend the night in a hotel with her. This was me texting my friend saying, how do I get myself out of this? I'm very uncomfortable. And also that she let off a little bit and it wasn't as bad as it was before.
By the way, y'all sound kind of stupid when you try to say Connor's dad because he can't even produce that type of stuff.
Oh my god.
He's not old enough. He's not old enough.
This message was her saying, don't make me S your D again, which I think we can all infer what this means. These were TikToks that she had made directly from her account, as well as this very disturbing one. You guys can pause to read these, but this is her telling me that she's been risking her reputation for liking me and that she doesn't want to go to jail, as well as stressing that there were being other videos sent around of us. Thing weird about this. In this screenshot, you can see that she's laughing about it, saying, haha, I'm going to jail. Do you guys think prison has designer? Talk that she had me. Which this right here is another angle of her directly, you know, pulling it up and showing it on FaceTime. This one you can pause and read, but this was her closest friend at the time who literally had stated that she could go to jail for knowing about it and not doing anything, and the top half is covered for privacy and personal reasons. This is another one, her stating that she was harming herself because I said some mean things to her, and that she told me that she would bleed dry for me, which is very, very manipulative, as well as would send me pictures of her self-harm. I do want to say that there is more evidence behind this. I obviously just can't fit it onto one video. TikTok will only allow me to update 35 items into the video, but I do want to say that there is a lot more that specifically shows, but this in itself right here I think clarifies well enough that it was a lot more than just a kiss.
Zoe currently has not addressed this video. She has posted a few videos on TikTok since, but she's not talking in them and she's not, you know, talking about him, though her comments have been disabled on all of her videos. So Connor had tried to, you know, talk about this situation years ago, and Zoe actually did acknowledge this all on a live stream.
We both liked each other, and then we realized that the ages were too different. Nothing happened between us besides kissing, and I'm saying that now, like, I'm really sick of people thinking that we did other stuff besides kiss. There's a video going around of people saying that it's me and Connor, and it's like of these like two people doing something like nasty, and that's not us. All the videos that were leaked of Connor and I were us kissing, and I just wanted to come on live and let you guys know that it stopped months ago. It hasn't been a thing for a while now. Connor and I don't have communication right now due to our parents both agreeing to cut our contact and give us both time to heal and from social media, because social media is very toxic to us right now. And we're both just kind of hurting. We're trying to like laugh off the situation because we both realized back then that it was just like not right.
Yeah, she's definitely downplaying everything in that video, just saying, oh, you know, we just kissed, which is still weird. Again, a 19-year-old kissing a 13-year-old. Even if that's all it was, that's still too much. And I don't know a ton about Zoe at all. I don't actually know anything about her until this story, so what I know about her isn't good, but what I do know is that her fan base is children, and these young fans go to bat for her often. They don't know any better, and clearly Zoe has been able to manipulate her fans in the past, allegedly of course, so I'm not surprised she still has people defending her, because it's the same fan base she is now being accused of having inappropriate physical relationships with. And I got to thinking about, you know, whenever I was deciding on whether or not I was going to cover this topic, I got to thinking, you know, going back in my memory of whenever I was 19. When I was 19, I was in my second year of college, I was living in my own apartment, I was dating another 19-year-old. I can't imagine at that point in my life hitting up the local middle school for a friend, let alone a boyfriend. No normal in the head person would think that is okay. And that Connor has tried to get his story out but has been silenced or dismissed, I really think it comes down to him being a boy. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I think that if Connor was a boy and Zoe was a girl, this would have been taken care of years ago. Again, look at Colleen Ballinger and the massive backlash that she received, rightfully so. But for talking inappropriate with her underage fans and sending them lingerie. And here in this story, you have a 19-year-old having a physical relationship with a 13-year-old boy, and nobody's talking about it. Why? You tell me. She still has a big platform, and yeah, her comments are disabled, but she still has TikTok. She still has that platform. She's still making money on it. And most importantly, she has faced 0 consequences for her behavior. And look, I'm just gonna be real. If you are a 19-year-old and you're interested in a 13-year-old, you're a PDF file. I can't say the word here on YouTube, but I think you know what I mean. There's no excuse and there's no other word for it. I don't care if it's a girl being interested in a boy. It's not, oh, well, good for the boy. Oh, go get her. No, it should be approached the same way as if somebody found out that it was a 19-year-old man approaching a middle school girl. There should not be a different set of rules or just the way that people think about whenever they think about, you know, a male, I don't know if I can say the word, but pred versus a female pred. I just think there's no difference. It's still wrong. It's wrong. Connor's been in therapy all this time and she is just living her best life on TikTok. For years, he has not been taken seriously. His story has not been taken seriously, and I hope that stops now. More people who are fans of Zoe have been coming forward about her being inappropriate towards them when they were underage. So I am curious what comes of all of that. Is she going to just get away with this again, or is there going to be some actual, you know, consequences this time? But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that if Connor was a girl and Zoe was a boy, that there would be a different reaction from society? I think that there would be. I think a lot of times boys, men, they're not taken as seriously in this type of situation whenever it's a girl, a woman, that's what I should be saying. It's a woman being the person causing the harm. I think there's definitely a different view on it from society, and I think that's wrong. It should be the same. And I think it's awesome that as a young man, he is telling his story. He's not afraid. He's not going to be silenced anymore. He's putting himself out there, and good for him. With all that said, thank you guys for being here. If you stuck around this long, consider subscribing if you have not already and giving this video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. Thanks again for being here, and I will see you guys in my next video.